What's up, fight fans? Welcome back again to another episode with the African Fighters. And on today's episode, yes, we are going to be breaking down one of the most highly anticipated fights for the start of next year. The most talented unorthodox fighter, Dricus Du Plessis, taking on the notorious Strickland. Yes, it's been an amazing year. 2023 has brought so many great fights in the UFC for African fighters. 2024 promises to be amazing. Yes, the UFC middleweight championship will be on the line. Strickland taking on Dricus Du Plessis. This is a fight that a lot of people were not really looking forward to initially, for good reason. I mean, these two guys up until now didn't seem to have any beef between them, so there was really no story pushing this fight. That was until the press conference when Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis began to go head-to-head in a battle of words.
Sorry, it won't be enough.
I don't gotta worry about finishing. Your coach will finish you in the back like you're fucking used to. Don't worry about that. You're gonna get fucking finished that night. Your coach got you.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul, you understand?
Yes, these two will do battle in the octagon, but before then they were present at UFC 296 to watch Leon Edwards defend his title against Colby Covington. Conveniently enough for the UFC, these two were sat very close to each other. Strickland sitting right in front of Dricus Du Plessis, and yes, it went down. These two got into a battle and a brawl that has got people really fired up and looking forward to this amazing matchup. Now let's jump right into this fight and see how these two match up against each other. Of course, we begin with our homeboy Dricus Du Plessis, all the way from South Africa. He has been a man on a mission ever since he got himself into the UFC. He's been extremely dominant, evident by his last fight against the Reaper, Robert Whittaker, where he absolutely dominated that fight. No excuses for Robert Whittaker. He was beaten fair and square. Before then, he destroyed Eric Bronson and Darren Till on his way to a title shot. This man is 6-0 in the UFC, stands 6'1" tall. Dricus Du Plessis is a physical specimen. I mean, he is a big man for that weight class, just a pure athlete and a very strong physical competitor. He prides himself as being a dog and says once it becomes a dog fight, he's definitely coming out on top in that kind of fight. Strickland, however, a man who's been in the UFC for a minute, he's 15-5 in the UFC with losses to Jared Cannonier, Alex Pereira, and Andy Varela, to name a few. Since his loss to Jared Cannonier, he's been on a tear, defeating Abuz Magomedov and former champion Israel Adesanya in such dominating performances. Yes, that win against Israel Adesanya raised a lot of eyebrows to just how good Strickland can be. This is one of the most difficult fights to predict. Reason being that these two guys are extremely unorthodox fighters. I mean, Dricus Du Plessis, very strong, very physical, can wrestle, can strike, but he's very unorthodox with the strikes, meaning you do not necessarily understand the angles at which he's throwing punches from. He's punching from awkward angles. He's fighting and making it a very awkward fight for you. This is not something you can prepare for. It's not something you can spar for. There's just not anybody out there like Dricus Du Plessis. And just as I say that, we move to Strickland, a man who can make an MMA fight become a boxing fight. He's probably the only one, or one of the few, who actually used the shoulder roll in MMA. We saw him put this to good effect against Israel Adesanya in a match he managed to dominate. So let's buckle down to the strength and the weaknesses of these fighters and see how they match up. We begin with Strickland, the champion of the middleweight division. For me, his best attribute is his defense in a striking matchup, and of course his pace, his ability to pace himself to make sure that he's a pressure fighter for the full 5 rounds. Working with one of the best coaches in the game, Eric Nixick, Strickland's defense, when he game plans properly for who he's fighting against, can be extremely difficult to break down. He specializes in neutralizing everything that you are good at doing. Most fighters like to fight out from the jab. They like to set their strikes up using a jab. Strickland might just be the only fighter in the UFC who makes your jab absolutely ineffective. He breaks up your rhythm, makes it difficult for you to get into angles that you're used to throwing from. Now, all of this only makes sense when the fight is a striking fight. He knows how to manage distance, lean backwards, he's an amazing counter-puncher, and of course, he is a pressure fighter. That is the skill set of Strickland. Extremely difficult to figure out in an octagon. He also has decent jiu-jitsu, even though we do not get to see it very often because of how he chooses to fight. Yes, he loves to do the man dance, as he likes to call it. Dricus Du Plessis, on the other hand, is a fighter that does not care how he finishes the fight. He could care less whether it's a stand-up fight, whether it's striking, whether it's wrestling, whether it's grappling. all Dricus Du Plessis wants to do when in the octagon. Fighting somebody like this can be extremely dangerous. Case in point, Robert Whittaker. Dricus Du Plessis loves to come out of the gate all guns blazing. He does not give you a second of rest in that first round. That remains to be seen. Can Sean Strickland go through the fire in the first round and come out of it without the referee having to call stop to the fight? If he survives the first few rounds, then we can begin to see how Dricus is in deep waters. Yes, we are yet to see Dricus in a 5-round fight. We do not know if his cardio is going to hold up. We do not know if he's going to slow down or if he's able to keep the pace. We have seen him slow down a little bit in fights as the fight progresses. How is it going to be if Strickland can take him into a round 4 and a round 5 in this matchup? Usually when we do breakdowns, we like to look at the fighter and the type of strikes that he loves to throw. But with this too, it is absolutely pointless trying to predict what they are going to do in the octagon. These guys throw shots from weird angles. They do a lot of things that go against the book, that go against the grain, and that is why this is a fight that you must not miss. It is the battle of weirdness, as we are calling it at the African Fighters. It's a battle of the unorthodox fighters. It's a battle of the unconventional fighters. It's a battle of spontaneity and who can seize the moment. Dricus Du Plessis is a really strong big man, and I believe that if he gets his hand on Sean Strickland, it might be a very difficult night for Sean Strickland. Yes, Sean Strickland cannot walk up Dricus Du Plessis the way he did Israel Adesanya. Why? One can wrestle, one cannot. So he has to be extra careful the way he closes the distance in this fight against Dricus, because Dricus has the ability to shoot for takedowns, something we all knew Izzy was not going to do, which makes this fight a little bit more interesting. Now there's a lot of different things that can happen. However, with the kind of form that Dricus Du Plessis has been in, with how much of a physical advantage he might have in that octagon, with the fact that the reason Strickland got so much success against Izzy was because Izzy wanted a technical fight and not a brawl, Dricus Du Plessis is coming all guns blazing. He's willing to take one to land one. He's coming for a brawl. All of this fits the type of fight that Dricus Du Plessis excels in, and for this reason I gotta go with my homeboy Dricus Du Plessis, all the way from South Africa, taking this. I believe one way or another Dricus Du Plessis is going to win this fight and become the new middleweight champion of the UFC come January 2024. Yes, leave your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Do all the great things for the African fighters. Let us know who you think is going to win. If you think it's going to be a knockout, what round this is going to happen. I will see you in another episode. Bye for now.
Come on, Africans!